Hello student. So I am going to continue from the last video. We are discussing about different topics related to animation. Here again another topic, that is transition, or a we have already understand what is transition, and lots of other transformation has been discussed in case of computer graphics. Um, in animation also, transitions are always of moving from one picture to another. A simple transition might be a fade. In a fade, one image fades out while the fades in, giving an animation a cool look. Other examples of transition like wiping, morphing, or blending, etc. So what is morphing? So morphing is a very cool looking transition. It is also one of the most complicated ones. A morph looks as if two images melt into each other with a very fluid motion. So what is morph? Morph actually, we might combine two images or three images like that, and it's looked like we are melting the images with into each other and with a very fluid motion. In technical terms, what happens is that two images are distorted and faded, and a fade occurs between them. And this is pretty complicated to understand, but it looks very cool. And wrapping the same as morphing, except only one image is distorted and no fade occurs. So wrapping is same like morphing, but is the same as morphing, except only one image is distorted and no fade occurs. This is the original graphics. A wrap version of this graphics image is this one. And again, here you can see, if you use Netscape 2, another browser that supports animated GIFs, wait for the below image to load to see a wrapping Mona Lisa. So you can, if you load this image in browser, then you can see the wrapping thing. So next topic is fractals. So fractals are very complex pictures generated by computer from a single formula. Very often they are very colorful and look beautiful. And fractal gets created by using iterations. This means that one formula is repeated with slightly different values over and over again. Taking into account the results from the previous iterations, the results are then graphed. In fractals, the little parts of them look like the big picture, and when we'll zoom in more, one will find more and more repeating copies of the original. So that is all about fractals, and it can be created in the computer using some equation or formula. And actually this is a recursive like process, but it will be like it's like you can see in fractals the little parts of them look like bigger picture, but when you zoom in more, one will find more and more repeating copies of the original, because fractal gets created by using iteration. This means that one formula is repeated with slightly different values over the of values over and over again, and taking into account these results from the previous iteration. So like that it will go on and on. So that is why you can create the fractals. Next point is anti-aliasing. So anti-aliasing is the process of blurring sharp edges in pictures to get rid of jagged edges on lines. After an image is rendered, some applications automatically anti-aliases images. The program looks for edges in an image and then blurs adjacent pixels to produce a smoother edge. In order to anti-alias an image, when rendering, the computer has to take samples smaller than a pixel in order to figure out exactly where to blur and where not to. For example, if the computer finds that one pixel is on the edge of two objects, then it takes sub-pixel samples and checks about how many of them showed the front object and how many showed the back one. And let's say that the computer took 8 subsamples and 4 of them were on object 1 and other 4 on object 2. The computer then take the resulting color values from the subsamples and average them into resulting blurred pixels. So when viewed from a distance, give a smoother edge effect. So here you can see this original image and this is anti-aliasing image. So here you can see these parts, these edges has been reconstructed by blurring the edges or adding some edges, but you can understand that the number of pixels here is lesser than the number of pixels here, and that is how they can manipulate the edges or the pixel values in the edges. So that in that way only we can do the anti-aliasing. So here you can see this is the original image, and original image you can see that this is zigzag pattern, but here you can see somewhat smoother than this one. So that is the process of anti-aliasing, and many software has that has inbuilt, but sometimes we need to go for programming, and when you render something this might occur, so you need to go for some programs to produce the anti-aliasing process to create the smooth edges in the animation. So here you can see again some important issues regarding the animations like binary system. So we know that what is binary system, we no need to go for that. So what is next, we can go for the bit depth. So bit depth here you can see is the number of bits used to store information about each pixel. The higher the depth, the more colors are stored in the image. For example, the lowest bit depth like 1-bit graphics are only capable of showing 2 colors, black and white. This is because there are only 2 combinations of numbers that in 1 bit, that is 0 and 1. 4-bit color is capable of displaying 16 colors because there are 16 different combinations of 4 bits. And when with you can use 8-bit color, there is a total of 2 pieces colors available. When with 16-bit color, there is 65536 number of colors is available. When you have 24-bit color, then you can have that much 16777 to 16 numbers of colors available. So bit depth might refer to the bit depth of an image or a bit depth of a monitor. When it refers to bit depth of a monitor, it means that your monitor is able to show a certain number of colors at one time. If it means that the bit depth of an image, it means that the image may contain the specified numbers of colors. You might wonder why not use a best bit depth for all images to make them look good. You might have, this is a higher bit depth, the more bits per pixel used in the image. The more pixel used in an image, the larger the actual file is going to be. That is why we need to use the optimized version. Again, we have discussed the bitmap previously, but again we can go through once again. A bitmap is a collection of pixels that describes an image in human terms, a complete picture. A bitmap can be various bit depth and resolution. Basically, a bitmap is an array of pixels. A bitmap graphic enlarged to show detail and individual pixels. So there are 2 kinds of computer graphics. One is bitmap or one is object oriented. So in case of bitmap graphics, graphics are graphics that are stored in form of bitmap. They are a sequence of bits that get drawn onto the screen. You create bitmap graphics using a painting program. You cannot edit the components of a bitmap image once you drew them. For example, if you use your painting program a draw line, you will not be able to edit that line as a separate object. It becomes part of the image. So that is the point about bitmap. But in case of programming or in case of object oriented, it will be different. So when you enlarge a bitmap image, you will get a pixelated look. If you are planning to print out an image that was originally 3 inches on 3 inches on 3 inches as 6 inches by 6 inches, you will get a very pixelated look. But also one might use bitmap graphics to edit digitized picture. Bitmap graphics are usually easier to work with. Bitmap graphics tend to create larger files than object-oriented graphics. There are some exceptions to that rule. So does the thing about bitmap graphics. Another important topic, that is keyframe. In case of animation, it is highly used. When someone creates a 3D animations on a computer, they usually don't specify the exact position of any given object on every single frame. They create keyframes. Keyframes are important frames during which an object changes its size, directions, and shape or other properties. The computer then figures out all the between frames and saves an extreme amount of time for the animation. So here you can see, if you create this red and yellow keyframe, then this between these frames can be reconstructed having the proper values of like size, directions, and shape and other properties, how they are changing from this one to this one. So computer will create or reconstruct these frames with reference to those values. So in that way, we no need to go for constructing these frames. Computer will automatically construct those things, so we can reduce or we can manage our times. So here you can see 2 frames drawn by user. One is this one and this one, and in between frames are generated by computer. So final animation will be this one. So actual in between frames were drawn by me, not the computer. So this is not the point. So next is modeling. So we'll go through this again in the next video. I'm going through a little bit low pace actually, so that you can understand about these things. And also, if you want to add, or if you want to know more than this, please let me know. And also, if you have any confusion, please let me know. I'll try to resolve those things over Google Meet. Thank you.